gonna live on top of the DAHDI drivers interface. So you don't have to use Asterisk with this. You can use Asterisk, and we'll see why it's convenient to use Asterisk in a second. But if you don't want to, because you don't have a custom application, or because you want to integrate with an existing application, this solution, you can just write on top of the DAHDI drivers, and you will get the raw access to the D channel message. But it's going to be up to you to take care of mixing the audio, because the audio of a single call comes in two different spans. And the messages in the ISDN protocol also come in two different spans. So for example, a setup message that you see in span 1, for the same call, the proceed message is going to come in span 2. So you need to kind of match, okay, this message is for this call, this message is for this call, and whenever the call is answered with the connect message, you will have, if you want the audio in a single file, you will have to do the audio mixing yourself to record a file, or you can also just record one side of the call in one file and the other side of the call in another file. But of course, it's much easier to do it with Asterisk, because Asterisk is so extensible and it has so many applications. There is already a huge community out there, so it's much easier just to use Asterisk instead of going and you doing it yourself. That's the reason we grow this patch for Asterisk, and now Asterisk is capable of just living in that tapping box, and you put Asterisk there. And what it's going to do, Asterisk, what it's going to do is going to match this signal message from different spans. So it's going to take care of doing that for you. It's also going to create an Asterisk channel and provide the audio to the Asterisk core already mixed. So any application that reads from this call is going to already read the audio from both parties. So Asterisk will see this top call like a regular incoming call, even though it's not a real call, because you cannot transmit anything into that call. You can only read whatever is on the line. You will get the CDR information, but you cannot interact with that call actively. You can still use regular outline logic, so that's the huge advantage. You just get an incoming call, and you can do whatever you do with incoming calls. You can launch maybe an AGI script to search in a database of numbers and only record the calls that you're interested in. Or you can do anything that you can do with Asterisk right now. You can use other applications like ChanSpy, or you can use, there is an application called SAP Barge, DAHDI Barge now, it was renamed, where you can live in real time, you can iterate through all the DAHDI calls and listen to what is going on in those lines without actually being in the circuit. Of course, any media writing, as I already said, like if you launch your channel to the playback application, you can still do it, but it really doesn't make any sense in this context, because everything that you write to that channel is just going to be dropped and is not going to have any interesting side effect. But you can still, for example, dial to another party, to an EX extension, to an FXO extension, to a SIP extension, to monitor in real time any of the calls that are going on in the PRI link. Of course, you can also answer or hang up the call, but that's just going to be a local operation. It's not going to do any to the actual call that is happening in the PRI circuit. It's just going to hang up the Asterisk channel, maybe because you're not interested in recording that channel because it doesn't match your criteria. And it's just going to hang up the local. The active call, of course, continues in the active PRI link. So let's say you're interested in using it, and you want to try it in a call center or any environment where you see fit, you cannot get it from a stock Asterisk because, again, this is a feature that hasn't been integrated into the main releases of Asterisk. And it requires a special version of libpri. The reason for this is that libpri does all the Q931 state checking and a lot of protocol checking that we're not interested in when we're doing passive tapping, when we're just doing recording. We're really just interested in decoding the message and see the information elements for the destiny number, the caller ID, the call display, and fill it in a data structure. So the special version of libpri, what it does is just a decoder, a Q931 decoder. In the other hand, there is two branches for Asterisk 162, and then one branch for trunk, and I'm working in creating a new branch for 1.8 now that it's released, so people can test it in that version too. So you need to install any of these two branches, and I forgot to put the link here, but there is a bug report open it in issues.asterisk.org, where all the feedback for this new feature is being provided, or any bugs that you find that is not working in your link for some reason. People is reporting their feedback, and we need that feedback if we want this feature to go into Asterisk. The developers, DGUM, needs to see that the feature is stable and that there is people using it in order to integrate it. So if you're interested in the feature, please go ahead and report your feedback in the book tracker. In case you're using Sangoma cards, you need to specify the interface in TDM voice, which pretty much means it's going to work with DAHDI. That's all it means. And you need to specify TE high impedance equals yes, which is going to put the interface in a high impedance mode, so there is no any transmission at all and no disruption. As far as DAHDI is concerned, it's just a regular configuration. So if you have configured error in the past, you have configured PRI links maybe, it's just a regular PRI configuration depending on whether you're using T1 or E1. So you just have, in this case, the configuration that I have here is an example of an E1 configuration for tapping. You need to specify the CCS and the HDB3 for the framing and line coding, and the proper channel for the HDLC, and that's about it. Asterisk PRI tapping configuration. This is on ChanDAHDI. This is the Asterisk configuration itself. What do you need to tell to Asterisk in order to have ChanDAHDI to know that these circuits are passive and that it needs to do the message matching in span 1, 2. So all you have to do is put passive equals yes, and ChanDAHDI will know what to do. The only requirement right now is that since you need 2 cables, 2 spans per link, you need to put the cables adjacent, in adjacent spans. So it has to be span 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. You cannot put 1 and 5 or something like this because there is no configuration to tell which pair of spans correspond to a particular link. So you need to do it in pairs, consecutive pairs of spans. The switch type really doesn't matter because we're not doing any real signaling work, we're just decoding message. So you can put whatever you want in the switch type. The signaling can be either PRI net or PRI CPE. Again, it doesn't matter as long as it's PRI, so it knows that it's PRI tapping. So some key points to keep in mind with Asterisk PRI tapping is that 2 spans are required per tap trunk. Of course, no outgoing calls can be placed in those circuits for obvious reasons. It's not a real circuit, it's just a tap circuit. No media writing, only media reading. So any application doing media writing will just don't do anything. you can restart the Asterisk server safely, the whole box or just the Asterisk box. It doesn't matter. You can restart it. You, of course, are going to lose a few recordings while Asterisk is down. Well, it won't do any recording, but as soon as Asterisk starts again, it's going to start catching up with the message in the line, and it's going to start recording any new call placed from that point on. At this point, only the caller name, caller number, and caller number are exported to the CDR. For example, if you are in need of the type of number or any other parameters that come in the setup message, at this point they are not being exported. But if you need them, just drop me a line and we can figure something out. So some of the limitations that PRI has right now is no NFAS support right now. So if you have NFAS lines, you're out of luck for now. But again, you can contact me, and if you're willing to test it, we can arrange something so we can develop this for you. Not every message internet information element is recorded, and at this point, only Sangoma boards are tested. But I don't see any reason why not any other DAHDI compatible cards should work if the tapping is done properly. So what's on the future? What's in the roadmap for as far as tapping goes? There is people who has been requested analog tapping, so that's already in the works. So you can tap also analog lines if you have a bunch of analog lines and you want to do recording without disrupting them. You will be able to do so with Asterisk. You will be able to just put your Asterisk box and tap the analog lines and get incoming calls, just as I explained for the PRI side. And another thing that will be probably interesting is extending this concept of tapping physical PRI lines to other protocols, like network protocols, like maybe putting some port mirroring and use lead pickup that just monitors the network and maybe looks for the invites and the 200 OKs and then start recording the RTP that goes. So you can put just an Asterisk box in the SIP network, and it's going to start recording any SIP calls that are being placed in that network. And that raises the question of whether or not we need SHANTAP, because during the development of these features, you realize that there are a lot of features that are common, but there are a lot more that are not common and that seem to just make the development more slow, because you need to be careful to not break anything that is already, for example, in SHANDADDI. SHANDADDI is a huge channel driver that supports many protocols. So it's kind of complex to try to not break anything else. So maybe it will be much easier to just have a SHANTAP that is going to take care of doing tapping of PRI, SS7, analog, why not SIP or any other network protocols. So we're kind of looking for your feedback on that area. So just to give some closure, as you can see now, you can build very easily passive call record logger. There are a lot of products right now out there that are quite expensive for doing call recording. With Asterisk, you can do it at a much reduced cost and much easier. You can just put your Asterisk box and start building on top of that. You can build a web interface. You can make this a standalone application. You can make this an appliance out of this. So you just put the recording server and sits there without disrupting anything and start recording, and then the customer can go and browse over the recordings and put rules to only record certain calls. It's really up to the web developers or other developers to start building applications on top of this. So at the end of the presentation, you will find some references for more information about the tapping feature. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, now is the time. Yeah, sure.